Hey guys, and in today's video, I'm going to be making some sour hard candy lollipops from the Sour Candy Factory thing. I got this for Christmas, and most of the stuff in here is still good, so I'm just going to use it for a video, and I'm going to be making the sour hard candy lollipops, which is activity 1. Now, I won't be following the exact measurements because I don't have enough corn syrup to do that, but I will be following most of the things, so let's just get started with that. To start, here's what you'll need, and I'm just going to read this off, and what you're going to need from the kit, and just from at home, you know. So from the kit, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of corn syrup. I'm only going to be using 1. 1 teaspoon flavoring of your choice. 3/4 teaspoon of citric acid. Now, I'm not using these measurements, keep in mind. Lollipop molds and sticks. Now, I don't have any of the sticks. I just have molds, and I'm just going to be using these molds that I used for the soap, but I cleaned them, and they're pretty good. And then what you're going to need that's not in the kit is a 1/2 cup of sugar, an 1/8 cup of water, nonstick cooking spray, medium saucepan or double boiler, spoon, and food coloring. So let's get started. So step 1 was to spray your molds. So I'm just going to use this Pam baking stuff, and I'm going to spray my mold over the garbage so that it doesn't make a huge mess. Okay. So there. Now that I sprayed my mold, I'm going to just put it aside. And this is the part where you would be inserting the lollipop sticks if you were using lollipop sticks. Now, step 2. Now for step 2. So the next step tells you, step number 2, combine sugar, corn syrup, and water in a medium saucepan or double boiler over medium-high heat. Now, I completely estimated these measurements here, but what I did is I did the 1 tablespoon of corn syrup, 1/4 cup of sugar, and because it was an 1/8 cup of water, I just did a very small amount of water. And you're gonna put that over a medium-high heat, and you're gonna want to watch that. So I'm just gonna read step 3 right now. Allow the mixture to boil without stirring until candy reaches 300 degrees. But I don't have a candy thermometer, so we won't be using that. If you do not have a candy thermometer, you can check to see if it has reached its stage by dropping a little of the molten syrup into cold water. If ready, it will form brittle threads and break when bent. Caution: to avoid burns, allow syrup to cool in the cold water for a few moments before touching it. Okay, so I'm just going to put this over the boiler and let it boil, and then I will be back when it's ready. So now that my candy has reached its temperature, I'm going to add in my flavoring and citric acid. So since I don't have much time, I won't read that step. I'll just measure up the things and put them in. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of flavoring, and the flavoring I'm going to be using is going to be watermelon flavoring, and then you're going to need just, I'd say, a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid, and you're going to mix that in there and then pour it into the molds. So I have my candy here. I put in the flavoring and everything. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to pour my candy into its mold. And I'm going to do this over the sink so that it doesn't get too messy and go everywhere. This has to be put in the sink, so. Okay, that was close enough. And now we're going to just pour this into the molds. So I'm not sure if you could see that, but we're just also going to move it to a place where it can dry. So I'm going to do it on the paper towel over here, and I'm just going to dump it in there. So if you can see that, and I spilled a little bit of the flavoring, but that's okay. So I'm kind of praying that this doesn't burn through these molds, since I do use them for soap too. So I think that's all that we have, and I'm actually going to do something a little different with the food coloring, and I'm going to show you that in a second right now. But so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the food coloring. So you're going to need your food coloring and a toothpick. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the food coloring and we're going to kind of like swirl it into the candy in a way. So I'm going to start with the blue. And I'm just going to put some on the candy here. And then I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a mixture thing. Do a little bit of a marble in it. And I'm just going to do that for the rest of the following candies. And this one doesn't want to cooperate very well. Just push some of it in. So what I did was I just put them in the freezer now for a little bit. And when those cool, I'll show you the final result. But yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for those to cool, and then once they do, I'll be back. So the candies are done, and I'm gonna show you how they turned out. So I think they turned out pretty good. So this is the red one, how it turned out. The yellow one that I didn't have enough to do. The green one, which was the flower. And the blue one, which was the little turtle thing. Now, so they are kind of sticky. I think like they could have been probably frozen for a little bit longer. And the dye, I'm gonna lift up the sheet here, is kind of getting everywhere. So I wouldn't recommend the way I dyed it. I just kind of tried that. But other than that, they're fine. They're good. They're good to eat. So yeah.